My name is Brian Murphy. I'm the curator here at the Florence Indian Mound Museum. Today we're going to be talking about some of the things that the museum does, and then most importantly, a little bit about the site that we have here, and that our task is to take care of and interpret for the people in this area.
So we're on top of the Florence Mound, and just to give you a little bit of an idea of what this looked like, this mound is about 43 feet tall right now, but when it was originally built, it was cone-shaped and it was kind of much smaller. That was built during the Middle Woodland period about 1,700 years ago. After that, it was expanded and dirt was added to the top of it so that it has this flat top. And we think that this mound, the best interpretation we have right now today, is that it was built as a burial mound and then later reused as a ceremonial mound. Now, there's a couple of things that tell us, that point to ceremonialism as the main activity that happened here. And one of those is the lack of any real and redundant type of artifact found from the surface of the mound. It's been excavated several times, the first one starting in 1915, and the last one going back about 20 years. And it was really that one that happened about 20-25 years ago that gave us a good idea of what this mound was used for. But they didn't find a lot of evidence. They didn't find any evidence of any Native American dwellings that were on here. They didn't find any evidence of burials at the top of the mound anyways. So the best interpretation that we have right now is that, again, this was used for sort of seasonal gatherings. This would have been, and still is, the largest mound in the Middle Tennessee River Valley, so people would have come here from a very long distance at different times of the year. The mound today, the shape is not exactly what it would have been in when it was built. It's been altered quite a bit. Early maps indicate that there were 6 sides to this mound. Right now, we only have 4. And we don't really know if that was a miscalculation of those maps or that erosion and farming has really taken such a toll on this mound that we only have a few a smaller idea of what had happened here to be able to find just these 4 sides. We know that this was a farm for a very long time. We do think that erosion from farming practices affected the mound in some way. We're not exactly sure about that. But this site would have been not just this mound, but there was a wall that surrounded it. And it's difficult to see, but if you look back over towards this tree line over here, there is a rise where there's a railroad track. Now, along that rise it's about 280 feet or so from the base of the mountain. The best indication that we have from the earliest maps that were drawn is that that's roughly the location of a wall. And the wall surrounded it all the way around from the river on one side to the river on the other side. And that wall was about 15 feet tall all the way around. And the people who first sort of mapped it said that it was built of the same material and the same time period that the mound was built. Now, I just want to touch a little. Now, I just want to touch a little bit on the construction of the mound, because this is not just a mound of dirt that's been piled up. This is an intricate engineering process that we're only starting to understand a little bit about. These mounds, specifically some of the research that's been done at Savannah in Tennessee, Shiloh Mounds, and then at Poverty Point, they're coming up with some really good ideas of how these were constructed. These are not huge events over hundreds of years they're finding. They are shorter events with a lot of people contributing a lot of manpower to construct these earthworks and these sites. And they're doing it not just with random dirt. They're doing different layers. They're using different materials. They're mixing materials around. Sometimes it's clay. Sometimes it's silk. Sometimes there's different layers in between those three things. There's sometimes, especially on the sides, what they found in Shiloh is they've taken blocks of sod and turned it around, put them on the sides, so that the erosion doesn't completely take away the surface of the mound. So these are not, these are very well built. Obviously, they were well built if they've lasted 1,700 years. And it kind of speaks to the culture that the people who built them actually had. This is a lot more sophisticated than we tend to think they are. Especially on top of the surface here, you tend to see little bits of sand and mica. It has a reflective quality. That's not something you find in the topsoil generally. That's something that was probably associated with the river, with some type of river habitat, and that was brought here purposefully for some use or for some we're not exactly sure why.